going to show you how to make oil out here in the woods. Birch bark is loaded with oil. I'm going to be extracting the oil. You'll need a couple things for this. One is a metal can of some kind. Has to have a lid, and I've poked 3 holes in the lid, and I've poked a hole in the bottom of the can, right in the center. I've bent the bottom in kind of a rounded shape, and a soup can or something. Now I'm going to dig a hole in the ground in the middle of my fire pit. This will be where the empty soup can goes. You want it just deep enough to where the top of the soup can is about an inch underground. Then I'll fill in the sides, trying not to get any dirt into the can. Then I'll take a bunch of birch bark and roll it up, then stuff it into the other can. I'll put the lid on. I'll set this on top of the soup can. I'll bury the bottom with about an inch of dirt or so. Then I'll add these rocks around it just so it doesn't tip over. Then I'll use some birch bark to get a fire going. Then I'll build the fire around the can. You want the fire to be hot but not blazing hot. If it's too hot, the oil will get too thick like a tar. So I'm going to let this cook for about 1.5 to 2 hours. You can see the gases escaping from the can are on fire. Once all those gases burn out, it'll be about done. I'll scrape the ashes and dirt out of the way, and then I'll pull the can up. And now we have extracted the birch oil. There won't be much left of the bark. It'll be charred and crumble. The oil is going to have some water in it, but it'll separate. You can treat leather or your tools with it. It can be used as a lubricant or wood preservative, bug repellent. It has medicinal properties and a ton of other uses. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really good tent with a tarp. This is a 16 by 20 foot tarp, and we're going to try and beat the rain. It's about to start any minute now. It's better to use a square tarp with equal sides, but this will still work. So I didn't beat the rain, but that's all right. First I'm going to stake down the corners on one of the longer sides. I'll stake the rest down later. Now I'll go over to the opposite side of the tarp and bring the 2 corners together. I'll bring them next to each other, and I want them to be about 2 or 3 feet apart. Then I'll stake these 2 corners down. Now I need to cut myself a big stick, like this one. I'll take it inside the tent, and this will be what props it up in the middle. I have a shirt on top of this stick, so it doesn't rip the tarp. Next I want to bring these 2 grommets on the front side together. I'll take a length of bank line, pull it tight, and then stake it down. Then I tied the little flap down so it doesn't blow in the wind too much. I'll go inside and give you a tour. So I can stand up in here and everything. Nice, roomy tent. Now once I get the electric hooked up in this thing, I'm going to be listing this for about $250,000. Please no lowball offers. I know what I have. That is what you call a pine knot. Lighter wood, fat wood, there's all different kinds of names for it. This stuff is like gold in the woods. To find this stuff, first you want to locate a bunch of pine trees. And I'm looking for dead fallen pines. The fat wood is going to be located in these dead branches coming off the tree. You can also find it in dead branches on live trees, but they're too high up and harder to get to. You can find it in the center of dead pine stumps as well, but in my area I do better finding it in the branches. You want to cut the branch flush with the trunk of the tree. You can see it's a solid amber colored wood because of its high resin content. And it smells so good. It has a very, very strong pine scent. Smells like turpentine. Most of the dead branch is going to be rotted, and only about a 4 or 5 inch section of the branch that's closest to the trunk will be saturated with resin. So I'm going to shave all the rotten wood off of this branch. But this is about as much fat wood as I'm going to usually get out of one of these larger branches. Now I'll show you why this stuff is so great to have out here. I'll make some fine shavings from this piece, take my ferro rod and give it some sparks. This stuff is highly flammable because it's so saturated with resin, so it lights on fire very easily, almost like soaking a piece of wood in kerosene. Great stuff for getting a fire going, or for torches, or even nice pine-scented candles.